Welcome, everyone, to the NoDQ.com live recap of AEW Dynamite for Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. Next week, we have AEW's Blood and Guts event. We also have Full Gear coming up soon. Let's get to Dynamite. We had footage shown from last week when Hangman Adam Page dressed up as Tony Schiavone to trick Samoa Joe. We had Tony Schiavone in the ring to announce another new championship called the National title. I will talk about that in a few minutes because we immediately had an interruption from Samoa Joe. Joe said it was hard to believe that Tony Schiavone had nothing to do with Page's stunt, and he said that there would be consequences for his actions. The Opps surrounded the ring, security came out there, and then Hangman Adam Page ran out there with the Opps. Hook proposed a title match, and Samoa Joe did agree. The main event was set. The Opps defending the trios titles against Hangman Page, Hook, and Eddie Kingston. More on that in just a little bit. Solid opening segment. We then had our first match of the evening, which was Orange Cassidy versus Claudio. WWE does this, AEW does this. We get the match to determine who gets the advantage. For me personally, I just prefer the old coin toss, but they got to have a match here. And wait, there's more. Not one, but potentially 3 matches. Best out of 3 to see who gets the advantage. And we didn't even find out on Dynamite because the third match is taking place on Collision, which pretty much told me that the good guys would win one match and the bad guys would win the other. It's Moxley versus Roderick Strong on Collision. I think we know who's going to win that one. But anyways, Orange Cassidy versus Claudio. Match was fine. Claudio used his power. He was picking up Orange Cassidy. Now, granted, Orange Cassidy is like 100 pounds soaking wet. He picks up Orange Cassidy and he has him up in the suplex position and brings him into the ring, walking up the steps with his carcass. He did the giant swing, but of course, Orange Cassidy fought back. He did a DDT on the floor. He hit the orange punch, but then Claudio came back with an uppercut and got the 1-2-3 victory over Orange Cassidy, which I'm happy that Claudio won and the Death Riders did not win the other match, which we'll get to in a few moments. Match was pretty good, but yeah, I figured that the good guys would win one, the bad guys would win the other. And with Claudio winning this match, it completely gave away the next match. I mean, we know it's not going to end in 2 matches. You can't have that. Every once in a while, we've seen these 2 out of 3 fall scenarios where somebody wins 2 in a row, but it's very rare. Backstage, we had Mark Briscoe pitching a no DQ match for the TNT title at Full Gear. Kyle Fletcher liked the idea, but Don Callis wanted something in return. If Mark Briscoe lost, or if he loses, he has to join the Don Callis family and leave the conglomeration. Briscoe did accept this. How do you even hold him to this? I've never been a fan of these types of storylines where if the good guy loses, he must join the bad guy faction. Like, what's he supposed to do? Like, he could just not help them. I guess they could say in the contract he has to be on their team, but he could accidentally cost them. I'm just not a fan of these types of storylines. But yeah, we got that match set up for Full Gear now. And then we had a women's match, not at 9:30, but at 8:30. And we had 2 on this show. The women got 2 matches on this episode. We had Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale against Mercedes Moné and Athena. Mercedes and Athena took a cheap shot at the beginning of the match, but Harley and Willow worked well together and got back into the fight. Willow built up some momentum after the break, and then we had the breakdown with all 4 in the ring. Mercedes put a submission on Harley Cameron, but Willow pounced Athena onto Mercedes to break up the pin attempt, and then Athena regained the advantage using her power, picking up both women and dropping them at the same time. Then we had Billy Starks come out there, and Chris Statlander, the women's champion, attacked Starks. And then in the ring, you had Willow hitting the Dr. Bomb to Athena. Harley then took out Athena with the DDT and got the 1-2-3 victory, which means Mercedes is out of the tag team title tournament. I'm a little surprised at that one. I figured that they would get the fans all riled up and have Mercedes in the finals at least, but no, she is out of the tournament. There you go. Mercedes Moné lost. You can all settle down now. Mercedes did not even make it to the finals of this tournament. Backstage, we had the Young Bucks with Don Callis, and Callis brought up this $1 million trios match they have. The Bucks are teaming up with Josh Alexander, and they will be going up against Kenny Omega and the Jurassic Express, and it's like a $1 million match. Okada was brought in, and Okada basically told them to not take too much time thinking about this offer and gave them the little wink. You know, the fact that he's with the group is supposed to be the seal of approval. But I have a feeling the Bucks will not join the Don Callis family. We had Tony Schiavone making the announcement about the national title, which I am not a fan of. Caleb Jacobs sent in a $2.23 super chat. Thank you, Caleb. He says, "Are you excited about the national championship?" Oh, yeah, I am so excited about it. That's all we needed in wrestling was yet another championship. Surely there's nothing that they could have done with a previous title or a title that does exist that merged, a title called the international title. Surely this is a completely different concept. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're talking about bringing back a title from the 80s. Why? What is the point of this? You already had the international title, which was, a title defended in Japan and Mexico, so on and so forth. Really? I'm not a fan of this at all. Like, this is just a ridiculous idea. And I feel like in 6 months, nobody will care about it. It's just a bad idea. Not a fan of it. We haven't even had new women's tag team champions crowned, and they're already introducing another championship. Give me a break. Yeah. So they're doing a casino gauntlet, which is starting to become very overdone. Like it's cool when you do it once a year, maybe twice a year, but it feels like the third or fourth one this year. I don't know if that's the case or not because I just don't remember, but it feels like it. It feels like we've had a lot of these casino gauntlet matches. Maybe somebody in the chat can figure it out for me how many we've had this year. Caleb sent in another $2 super chat. Thank you, Caleb, for the super chat. And for those of you that are loving this idea, then more power to you. I'm happy for you. He says, Mr. Wonderful held the national title 40 years ago. Yeah, he did. Wahoo McDaniel and a bunch of other guys held it. Yahoo! Big friggin' deal. They might as resurrect the 24/7 hardcore 7-Eleven title in WWE. They should resurrect the European title because Al Snow wore a different costume for every country that he was representing. I mean, give me a break. We had the Hurt Syndicate brought up, and it was revealed that Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin will both be in the gauntlet match going for this prestigious national title. Forget about Bobby Lashley going for the world title. He could be the first national champion or the first national champion in 40 years. Whoop-de-friggin' do. And then they tease the idea that these guys might not work together since it's every man for himself. But MVP said it doesn't matter. Whoever wins, it's best for business and it's best for the fans. Then we had my favorite group in the world, The Demand, coming out there, and Ricochet was running his mouth. MVP had a funny line saying that Ricochet talks shit while the Hurt Syndicate hurts people. Crowd was chanting, "Shut the F up" at Ricochet. They look so goofy in their suits or their jackets, whatever the hell they're wearing. But I guess that's supposed to be by design. I don't know. It's goofy. And I guess Ricochet is going to be in the Casino Gauntlet. So they're continuing this feud through the Gauntlet match. And I really don't care. I have no interest in this Gauntlet match. All right, let's move on here. I've said enough about the stupid international title. And Dave Scheffler sent in $2. Thank you, Dave. Says, when will they stop the bleeping titles? Probably never. It is like Oprah. Everybody gets a title. You get a title. He gets a title. She gets a title. They get a title. We all get a title. It's a participation trophy. That's what the national title is at this point. You're going to win a battle royal and be a prestigious champion now, according to Tony Khan. It's a great title. It's a great concept, as Tony Khan would say. Everything's great. Nothing's bad. Tony Khan makes no mistakes. Every pay-per-view is the greatest pay-per-view of all time, damn it. And every Dynamite's the greatest Dynamite of all time. All right, let's move on here. We had our next segment, which was Darby Allin versus Daniel Garcia in the second of what could have been 3 matches to determine who gets the War Games advantage, or the Blood and Guts advantage. And like I said earlier, this one was very predictable. Darby's not losing after Claudio won the first match. Match was fine. Garcia was targeting the ear and the back of Darby. They brawled on the outside, and since that's where Darby is at home, he got the advantage for a while on the outside. And then Darby hit the Scorpion Death Drop, but could not make the cover. And then they were on the outside again. Daniel Garcia drop kicked the steps into Darby's face. And then he got back in the ring, and Darby managed to get to his feet. But then he was attacked by Pac as Garcia was talking to the referee. And Darby Allin, he got counted out. No, he didn't. I'm just kidding. Of course he beat the 10 count. Nobody ever fails to beat that 10 count, except I think on Raw we got a double count out. So that actually did happen. But yeah, Darby beats the count at 9.9999. And they act like, oh my God, this is some big moment. He beat the 10 count. And I'm like, we've seen it a million times. It's like John Cena getting the Big Show up for the AA. We've seen it a million times, and every single occasion when it happens, everybody's shocked. Oh my God, I can't believe Big Show was lifted up on John Cena's shoulders. Or every time Bianca Belair got up Dewdrop for the move that she does. I can't even think. I'm so agitated right now. The KOD, the kiss of death. Every time they act like it's a big deal. Oh my God, he beat the 10 count. I can't believe it. 9.9999. Wow. Darby beat the 10 count. And then Daniel Garcia put on the Scorpion Deathlock, which Wrestling 101, when the heel does that, it doesn't work out for him when he uses the other guy's move. It's sure enough, Darby countered out, put on the Deathlock of his own, and got the submission victory. So yes, Darby Allin did in fact win. What a shocking moment there. And now we have to watch Collision to see if Jon Moxley can beat, let me check my notes. Roderick Strong. Can Jon Moxley beat Roderick Strong to gain the advantage? Which, I mean, logically he should, because the heel should have the advantage. I just like the flip of the coin. Shout out to Caleb Jacobs, who sent in a $2 super chat. If I go for more than 30 seconds without reading it off, he has to remind me. So thank you, Caleb. He says, it's like Oprah. They will never stop eating. That is very true. I agree with that 100%, Caleb. And thank you again for the super chat. Thank you for your patience as always. We had a post-match attack, because you cannot have a Dynamite without a post-match attack. Orange Cassidy then ran out. Then Wheeler Yuta came out, and then we had more people came out, and it was a huge brawl. All the members of the Blood and Guts match were brawling. Remember this for later. Take note of that. FTR came out for a promo. They got a bone to pick with Bandido and Brody King. They called them out, but as it turns out, Stokely Hathaway locked Bandido in their locker room, and FTR then took this opportunity to confront the family of Bandido. I'm not sure if it was his mom or grandmother. They were making fun of her age, so could have been her grandmother, but I don't know. Mother or grandmother was there, and Gravity, who's Bandido's brother, was there, and they were making fun of the mom or grandma. And then Gravity had enough. He tried to attack them, but he was obviously outnumbered. And then we had a really goofy moment where, what does this remind me of? Like a Three Stooges movie or something. You have Brody King's fist punching through that little fake wall that they have, the little cardboard wall, punches through the wall, and Stokely Hathaway is like right there. Felt very much like a Three Stooges type skit here. And then you have Stokely running out, and then he's being chased by Bandido, and they saved Gravity. It was very goofy. It was like a slapstick comedy here. I'm not sure if it was effective in making me want to see this tag team match at the pay-per-view. We then had Toni Storm on commentary for Mina Shirakawa versus Megan Bayne in the first of the Who Gets the Advantage in the women's Blood and Guts match. I don't know why, but I feel like Toni is a little bland on commentary. Like, she doesn't really add much to it. She's not like The Rock. When The Rock is on commentary, he's just entertaining. Toni Storm's kind of just there. I don't know. I feel like it's not really her strong suit, yet they keep putting her out there on commentary. Anyways, match was fine. Back and forth between the two of them. Megan did this avalanche fall away slam, and then Mina suplexed Megan on the apron. Then Mina did the sling blade, but Megan kicked out. And at this point, we had Marina Shafir choking out Toni Storm on the commentary desk, and Mina was concerned for her friend. So this is the one instance of the stupid babyface where I can forgive it when somebody's concerned about their friend's well-being. That's a good person. So Mina was worried about Toni, and even though Toni was kind of fighting back, but still, Mina was concerned. And then Megan took advantage, did the running Liger bomb, and got the 1-2-3 victory. I think there's another match on Collision, or the two more matches, whatever. But I really feel like the heels should have the advantage for both matches. But that's the other problem with doing two matches. And this is WWE as well. Like, I don't like when the faces have the advantage, but then when you do two matches, I think the bookers and the writers feel like we got to change it up a little and have the faces with the advantage for one of the matches. But if you just do one match a year, you can have the heels with the advantage. I don't know. That's why I don't like this as a yearly match. Like, do it every once in a while and just give the heels the advantage for the psychology. Anyways, as I mentioned earlier, take note. earlier we had the brawl with the two men's teams, and then sure enough, everybody's running down for this one. We have another brawl with the women participants this time. Mercedes comes out there, but she doesn't want to get involved, and then Statlander goes after her, helps out her teammates, and the good girls clear out the ring. Again, this is the problem with two matches. You have to basically do the same build-up for both of them. Then we had our main event of the show, which was the Opps defending their tag titles against Hook, Hook, Hangman Page, and who is the third person I'm forgetting? Eddie Kingston, because Eddie Kingston's barely been on Dynamite since he returned. Samoa Joe's on the Opps team. Samoa Joe, Shibata, and Powerhouse Hobbs. So this match was solid, your standard six-man match. Opps with the early advantage. Then Page got the hot tag, did his moonsault to Hobbs. Then we had things break down, and Page and Hobbs fought up by the ringside area, and Hobbs ended up power slamming Page off the stage through the announce table that was below, or just a merchandise table or production table. Who knows why these tables are just conveniently placed there, but there was a table there, and Hobbs put Page through it. So Page was out of the equation, and it was not good for the baby faces. Hobbs got back in the ring. He put on the backbreaker submission, like the torture rack, to Hook, and Hook was tapping out, and that gave the Opps the big win. Powerhouse Hobbs getting a nice little rub here. He got to beat up Page, and he tapped out Hook. But all good things must come to an end, because next week it's Hangman Page versus Hobbs in an anything goes match, which I would have rather seen Hobbs get the pay-per-view match. Like, do we really need a second Joe versus Page match? I would have liked to have seen Page beat Joe, and then Hobbs steps up and becomes the next challenger. Like, let's give Hobbs a pay-per-view title match. But yeah, it's a Falls Count Anywhere match, and well, yeah. It's a foregone conclusion Page is winning, because it's Page versus Joe at the pay-per-view. So you build up Hobbs like a badass, only for him to lose next week. There you go. So all in all, I don't know. This was a very middle of the road Dynamite for me. I mean, there were some good things. The matches were pretty good, but a lot of goofy stuff as well. So I guess I'll go with a 5. Show was fine, but I'm not all that hyped up for Blood and Guts, even though, it'll be crazy and everything. I just feel like it's a mistake doing 2. They really should have just done the women's match. They did that Death Riders lights out cage match, and that should have just been the end of the Death Riders. Like, we didn't need the men's Blood and Guts match this year. Just do the women's match and let them have the spotlight. We didn't need to. So I'm kind of underwhelmed about Blood and Guts. And Full Gear, meh. I mean, I don't see Samoa Joe beating Page for the title. I was hoping MJF would be back, but he's got his movie. He's doing that. What is that? The Santa horror movie, whatever it's called. I saw the movie. I didn't really care for it too much, but MJF was part of that sequel. He's been gone doing that, but I was hoping for Page and MJF at Full Gear in Newark. That would have been a hot main event. I like Samoa Joe. I think he's great, but I don't know. I think it's time to focus on the younger guys. Samoa Joe should be a Dynamite opponent for Page at this point, not a pay-per-view match. So yeah, it was okay. 5 out of 10. Not that interesting to me. I mean, I think this was a skippable Dynamite. Obviously, Blood and Guts will be a bigger deal, and that will be more of a must-watch show. But this one, you didn't really miss much, and they didn't even determine the advantage. So you don't even need to watch for that. You'd have to watch Collision for that if you want to find out who gets the advantage. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and spread the word. Tell a friend. I know you guys have friends. You have family that watch wrestling. They may love AEW, they may hate it, but I'm here to recap it every week, and I would appreciate if you could spread the word and let them know about the channel. Let's get those subs up and those numbers up. So just give the video a like and leave a comment what you liked about Dynamite, what you didn't like, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest wrestling news and rumors. Say yes to No DQ, and I will see you all next time.